whenever when I taught at another class, at another campus, when my students told me that they couldn't come to the class because of being sick of something, and then I record the class situation by my phone and I send it to them. Yeah. Okay, so today's meeting is about culture, communication, and intercultural relationship. And I think I'm going to show you my PowerPoint first before your friends present the presentation, so that some of you will just a slide, and I'm sure that you also have already downloaded the PowerPoint from your gadget. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Where is my? Okay. This is. I think I'm going to make it small. Yeah. Uh, who will be the first? Is it Sarah or Ivan? Is it Sarah? Okay. So Sarah, which topic would you like to present?
Benefits and challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking really about intercultural relationship.
Okay, and Ivan will present about cultural differences in relational development.
No, I'm present about privilege and disadvantages until intercultural relationship.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The three approaches.
Okay, wait, yeah. I'm going to show it first. While we are waiting for the other participants, so this is the summary of today's meeting. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay, so here, it's a little bit slow here, yeah. Okay. So these are the summary of today's chapter. I always start my if you see my PowerPoint, it is always started by chapter summary, so that we know what we are going to talk about. So here we are going to figure out about the benefit and challenges of intercultural relationship. In case one day you have to be blended with a global nation, so you will not get any culture shock anymore. Or even if you have to live abroad, and then you know about how to make a good relationship, and then the homesick will no longer exist. Yeah. Homesick is that it is not a hospital, yeah, but homesick means that we feel we miss our family so much, and we feel that that people in our new environment do not accept us as their member of the community. So it is some of the summary, and then you will see some notions of friendship, yeah, among people, and then we will see the differences in cultural, and how the differences can create relations among the people. If you see in Jakarta, you will know that we are blending here. Yeah, many different culture in Jakarta are easy to be found, and then you also see that people then have a good relationship, and sometimes they have a bad relationship, and then we will know that the relationship should find its differences and how we overcome with that differences. Yeah. Okay. I think all member of the class are here, so we are going to listen to the uh, presentations by the presenter, and as usual, the participants will type the questions on the chat box. If you have question while listening to your friends presentations, and in order to avoid you forget the question, so you may type the question directly. And then after that, we are going to go to the answer and question sessions. And after that, we go to the next presenter. Okay, now we are going to go to the first presenter. Sarah Khairunisa will present about the first part of this meeting, this today's topic, and then it will be continued by Ivan. Okay, Sarah, I think the time is yours, and please present your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Morning, class.
Morning.
I would like presenting about intercultural communication and intercultural relationships. Sorry. In this chapter, we explore the benefits and challenges of intercultural relationships, examine how relationships develop over time, and identify some cultural differences in relational development and maintenance. And the first, this is the benefits of intercultural relationships. Cultural exchange is very possible because anyone who comes from a country or a region will certainly not be separated from the culture in which he was born and raised. With deep-rooted culture within him, he must share space with others from other cultures. These cultural exchanges might cause conflict. Conflict can be mitigated by the birth of an awareness that everyone should be able to understand the culture of others who are different cultures with him. There are benefits and challenges. The first benefit, most people have a variety of intercultural relationships that may feature differences in age, physical ability, gender, ethnicity, class, religion, race, or nationality. The potential and opportunity in these relationships are tremendous. Tremendous. The key to this relationship often involves maintaining a balance between differences and similarities. And the second is challenge. The relationship between cultures is unique in some way, and as it is today, it is particular challenge. By definition, they are characterized by cultural differences in communication, style, values, and perception. Next, thinking dialectically about intercultural relationships. Taking a dialectical approach allows us to capture the dynamics of intercultural communication. I argue that a dialectical approach is useful in studying intercultural communication because it gets us out of our comfortable and familiar ways of thinking. Especially, we can better understand intercultural communication by examining text dialectics. Figure below Dialectics of the Cultural Communication, Martin and Nakayama, 1999. The next is personal contextual dialectics. The personal contextual dialectic highlights the connection between our personal patterns of and preferences for communicating and how various contexts influence the personal. In some cases, our communication patterns and preferences will stay the same across many contexts. In other cases, a context shift might lead us to alter our communication and adapt. The second is differences and similarities dialectic. The differences similarities dialectic allows us to examine how we are simultaneously similar to and different from others. And the third is cultural individual dialectic. The cultural individual dialectic captures this interplay between patterns, behaviors learned from a cultural group, and individual behaviors that may be variations on or counter to those of the large culture. This dialectic is useful because it helps us account for exceptions to cultural norms. Thank you. I think enough for me.
Okay, thank you,
And
Sarah. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, what a
and the
nice.
next will be presented by Ivan.
Okay, wait. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sarah. What a nice PowerPoint. What a nice presentations. Before we go to Ivan, do you think, class, we are going to have answer question season first before we go to Ivan, or we just listen to Ivan's presentation and after that we go to the questions? What do you think? In case of remember the presentations. Are we going to?
I think we can do as usual, Miss.
Yeah.
We can continue the next presenter, and in the end of session we have Q&A session.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I just remind you again, if you have question related to Sarah's presentations, you have to type on the chat box. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you,
Okay.
Miss.
Yeah.
Can I stop sharing?
Yeah. Sarah, you have to stop sharing here
Okay.
because Ivan is going to present his presentation. Okay. Now, Ivan, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go on.
thank you, Sarah, thank you, Miss.
Mm-hmm.
I will share my screen first. Can you hear my voice
Yes.
clearly?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Can you see it?
Wait.
No.
I see.
Yeah, we can see it, Ivan.
Okay, continue Sarah's presentation about thinking dialectically about intercultural relationship. And now I will explain the privilege and disadvantages dialectic, static dynamic dialectic, history, past present, future dialectic, and intercultural relationship. The first is privilege, disadvantages dialectic. Privilege disadvantageous dialectic captures the complex interrelationship of unearned systematic privilege and disadvantages in our various identities. Our society consists of dominant and non-dominant groups. Our cultures and identities have certain privilege and disadvantages. We have to view our culture and identity through an intersectionality, which asks us to acknowledge that we each have multiple cultures and identities that intersect with each other. However, no one is completely privileged and no one is completely disadvantaged. When we view privilege and disadvantages at the cultural level, we cannot let individual exceptions distract from the systematic ways in which some people in our society are disadvantaged while others are privileged. For instance, is like the tourists when they come to our country, maybe we can see from their side of economic they are privileged, but when they don't know about they don't understand about our local language, that's we call disadvantages. And next to static dynamic dialectic. Static dynamic dialectic suggests that culture and communication change over time. Our cultural beliefs and practice are rooted in the past. Some cultural values remain relatively consistent over time, which allows us to make some generalizations about a culture. And then history, past, present, future, and dialectic. This dialectic reminds us to understand that while current cultural conditions are important and that our action now will inevitably affect our future, cultural groups have different relationships with each other. Some of these are positive and others are negative. For the example, like the slavery of black people. And I think until now that's affect us that white people have more power than the others. And then intercultural relationship. There are three communication approaches to studying intercultural relationships, and each of them makes a unique contribution to our understanding how we develop and maintain relationships across differences. First is the social science approach, identifies cross-cultural differences in how relationships are defined, initiated, and developed. The second is the interpretive approach, explore in depth the nature of this relationship and the role of communication plays. The third and the last is the critical approach that emphasizes the influence of various contexts, institutional, political, and historical, in facilitating or discouraging the development and maintenance of intercultural relationships. Miss, I just want to be honest to you
Mm-hmm.
because actually I don't understand enough about the three approaches.
Okay, that's
Maybe,
okay.
yeah, maybe you can explain in a simple way later.
Yeah.
Okay, I will explain the best I can. Social science approach. The social science approach is based on the assumption that human behavior is predictable and that there is a describable external reality. This approach, also called the functionalist approach, is based on research in the fields of sociology and psychology. This approach focuses on observing the behavior of a person from a different culture in order to describe it and compare it with other cultures. It also examines the way in which individuals adjust their communication with others in different situations depending on who they are talking to. For instance, ketika saya menceritakan when I tell about my story kepada Miss Dewi dan kepada teman saya pasti akan berbeda ceritanya,
Mm-hmm.
berbeda kata-kata yang saya gunakan seperti itu. And then the interpretive approach. Interpretive approach are interested in describing human behaviors which they believe to be unpredictable and creative. They believe that culture is both created and perpetuated through the means of communication. This approach focuses on accumulating knowledge about a culture through communication in the form of shared stories based on subjective individual experiences. For the examples, like in the work environment, maybe in the first day we don't know about banyak orang dari tempat kita bekerja itu banyak orang berasal dari background yang berbeda. Tapi lama-kelamaan kita bisa dekat dengan satu sama lain karena itu apa accumulating itu disebut juga accumulating knowledge about a culture through communication. And then the last is the critical approach. Critical researchers share many of the interpretive assumptions. They believe subjective reality. It is emphasized the importance of studying the context in which communications occurs, but usually focus on other contexts, like political and social structures. Unlike social science and interpretive researchers, it is interested in the historical context of communication. They are interested in understanding power relation in communication and identifying cultural differences is important only in relation to power differential. Okay, that's all. Maybe we have to move to Q&A session. Thank you, Miss Dewi. Thank you, class.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan, for the presentations. Yeah, um, later if you want to present using PowerPoint, you just use PowerPoint. Yeah, that is why you call it as a PowerPoint, and then after that you explain. Yeah, okay, but that's okay. Thank you. Now we are going to go to our answer and questions, and I think that the first question is from Hanifa. Hanifa is asking to Sarah. Yeah, can you give example of difference or similarities dialect? Yeah, we give time for Sarah to find the answer. And other question from the participant, you can ask the question for both of the presenters, and then type the question here, or you may ask directly. Okay, go on. We go to the answer questions. The first question is from Hanifa, yeah? And remember that the participant will get additional score for asking the questions, and then the presenter also get the score. So here you are not just watching something here, but we are here for our discussions, yeah? And since you have already read the book, I'm sure there are many questions that will be asked here, yeah, because Nakayama books is very interesting, yeah, and also some of our book is very interesting. They talk about everything that we find in our everyday life, as well as similar to Holmes' book in sociolinguistic. It is also about our everyday situation. Okay, but I think because the participant do not have question yet, I think I'm going to ask the questions to Ivan. But privilege, did you talk about privilege, Ivan? Yeah, at your first slide.
Yes, Miss. Yes.
Okay, would you please explain to me about again and give the example about privilege uh, and this privilege?
Gimana ya? Every culture, they have mereka memiliki kekurangan dan kelebihan nih.
Okay. Could you please give explain by giving us the example in our culture, in everyday culture?
Wait ya, Miss.
Okay, you said that agriculture has differences, of course. Yeah, there are no cultures are alike. Okay, even in one place, there are two different cultures. And
Misalnya,
what do you mean by privilege and not privilege?
misalnya ketika saya orang Indonesia pergi ke Amerika, amin.
Amin.
Mungkin akan sangat diuntungkan jika ada seseorang berbicara kepada saya yang tidak hanya menggunakan bahasa Inggris tetapi juga menggunakan bahasa Indonesia.
Okay.
Jadi seperti code mixing. And then tetapi bagi sebagian orang untuk code mixing seperti itu Indonesia Inggris mereka tidak terlalu mengerti. Nah di situ disadvantages-nya, Miss.
Oke.
Sebagian orang mereka tidak terlalu mengerti untuk bahasa Indonesia Inggris dicampur Inggris apa sih kayaknya.
Okay.
Tapi kalau untuk saya itu sebuah istimewa sekali, saya bisa diperlakukan dengan bahasa saya sendiri terutama.
Okay, yeah, I get the point. Yeah, so Ivan's explanation relate to the topic about language shift in language in society. Okay, so when you move to other place, or when you are at a place that dominant language is not your language, and then you find out that maybe some of the speaker are able to speak your mother tongue, yeah, and then you got shocked when you are going to socialize some of the speaker are talking with you with your language, and then you think that it is a privilege for you. Is it right? And then and in vice versa, if you move to other place that their dominant language is not your language, and then they don't care about your language, so that they just speak their own language, and then you feel the
Disadvantages.
disadvantages. Okay, so it is also related to the accommodation theory, yeah. If they speak with you with bahasa Indonesia, they do convergen, and then if you find that they still speak with you in English and you don't understand English, and then it is uh, what is convergent and divergent. Okay, yeah, thank you. So this is what we call as a privilege and disprivilege, yeah, or
Thank you, Miss.
disadvantages. Yeah,
Thank you so
Irfan. Thank you
much.
so much. Yeah. Okay. So here we see the perspective of whether the privilege or the advantages and disadvantages are based on the speaker's point of view. Yeah. And maybe I suggest you Ivan to move to Australia because many people speak bahasa Indonesia there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ivan. That's the question from me for Ivan. And I think I have question for Sarah, but I forgot the question that I'm going to ask to her. Yeah. Okay. We wait for other participant to ask the question for both presenter. Or maybe Sarah would like to answer Hanifa questions. Sarah, can you hear me? Other, can you hear me?
Yes, Miss. Yes,
Okay.
Miss.
So,
Sarah, chat in the chat box, Miss.
uh-huh.
Text in the chat box.
Oh yeah. Sarah, you can answer it. She cannot hear me. It seems that Sarah is in the office, right? Okay, what about others? About your internship while we are waiting for Sarah? What about your internship? Have you finished just like Ivan? Or no? Would you please
For,
tell
for me,
Sarah?
no, Miss.
Okay, Gita, not yet. Yeah.
Because I took 6 months.
Okay, that's good actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but today for several weeks I have the free time because it's to arrange the new material.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay, Sarah, can you hear me? Okay, now you can answer the question, the on. What is Sarah? Is anyone knows about Sarah here? Okay, she just chat here. Yeah. Hanifa, would you mind reading the answer?
Yes, Miss, no problem.
Yeah. Sarah might find some difficulty in turning on her microphone. Yeah. Okay, Hanifa, do you agree with Sarah's answer?
Wait, Miss, I'm still reading.
Yeah, she said the example is the statement like men are from Mars and women are from Venus create group differences by stereotyping. This tendency is evident in most of the popular and some of academic conversation regarding gender differences. Yeah. So, are you agree with this statement, Hanifa?
Yes, Miss.
Yes. What about other?
Me, sorry, Miss, my connection
Okay, yeah.
unstable.
Yeah, okay, that's okay. Would you mind explain it to us, Sarah, your answer? And she got confused again. Sarah, can you hear me?
Uh, uh, yes, Miss.
Okay, would you mind?
For example, I want to answer a question,
Mhm.
Ava's question. For example, statements like men are from Mars and women are from Venus
Mhm.
create group differences by stereotyping. This tendency is evident in most of the popular and some of the academic
Mhm.
conversations regarding gender differences.
Okay.
Alan said the book men are from Mars and women are from Venus makes it seems like the men and the woman aren't even species that hail from the same planet. The media is quick to include a blurb from a research study indicating again how men and women are weird to communicate differently. But however, the overwhelming majority of current research on gender and communicating finds that while there are differences between how men and women communicate, there are far more similarities. I think that is my answer.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Sarah, for the explanation. Maybe other would like to add some information related to Sarah's answer. Okay, now see here. Regarding Hanifa's questions about the example of differences, similarities, dialect, we take Sarah's answer here. Men are from Mars, and I'm sure that you have already heard about this statement. Men are from Mars, while women are from Venus. Yeah, because it is seems that when we see the Mars, it is a red planet, and some theories said that it means that men from Mars show that the man masculinity. Yeah, red means masculine, and then women are from Venus because the statement show that Venus is femininity, and then also related to giving a child only for women, not for men. Yeah, and then to be a soft person, to be a gentle one, to be a good one, related to Venus, since the Venus planet is a cold planet. Yes, that is why there is a statement related to men from Mars and women from Venus. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. We go to the next questions. No question here.
Yeah,
Yes.
Miss,
Mm-hmm.
can I ask Miss about uh, I'm still confused about the toxic masculinity. Miss.
Uh-huh. The
Can you
concept of
explain me?
okay. I think that she missed
Sorry, Miss.
some meeting. Okay, yeah. When we talk about masculinity and when we talk about femininity in our society, we talk about the expectations of what community wants from the member of the community. If we see we talk about gender first, yeah. Maybe you still remember that when I explained about gender and sex, yeah. Sex is about your biological, yeah. You have it since you were born, yeah. It means that you will always be a man or you will always be a woman, a girl, yeah. When I was born, I was born as a female baby, and then now I grow up into a female one, and now I'm going to be a female one, and maybe when I'm going to die, I still be a female. And it is also happened to male baby, and then growing up as a male person and blah blah. But then suddenly, because of the, what should they call it, our if we see it from our um, social, it is known as a gender. Gender means that we see someone not from their sex but from their gender. It means that we see someone from its social behavior. Yeah, that is why if we talk about somebody's gender, sometimes the sex is male or the sex is female, but they confess their gender not as their natural sex. They say that I am not a male, but I am a female. I'm not a female, but a male. But then we saw it whether there is a masculinity or femininity. Yeah, in someone's gender, we can see it's whether as the masculinity or as the femininity. Yeah. If I said that we see someone's gender differently from their sex, because based on their gender, they show their whether they are masculine or feminine. For example, when someone was born as a male baby, as a boy, then as the baby grows up, and then they confess as not as a male but as a female because of they show that they are not so masculine. Yeah, so masculinity is about being strong. Yeah. Okay. And femininity is about being, what should we call it, a woman that is a very gentle. That is femininity. Yeah. Now, here in our society, sometimes we see that masculine is shown by big body, a very average build. People think about it. Yeah. Well, actually, when we talk about being masculine, it's not shown by whether you have a bodybuilder just like Adera. Not so like that. But being masculine and being feminine is seen from your behavior. Yeah. So
From the
some,
behavior experience, yeah,
yes,
Miss, yeah.
yeah. So there is a mistaken in our, maybe in our society, that being masculine should be in a very average bodybuilder, for example. It's not like that. Yeah. So if you see that here in our community, then somebody who has a big body then shows feminine. Now there is a contradictions in our community. So when we talk about whether someone is masculine or whether someone is feminine, so we have to see from the behavior, not from the sex or not from the gender, because it is especially related to gender. People always say that their gender is mistakenly put in the wrong sex. Yeah, so that is why we see different perspective about gender, sex, and being masculine and being feminine. Yeah, and remember that being feminine means that you are going to be imitated by the next generations. It means that we as a woman, when we get married and have children, it means that everything that we show in our community will be imitated by our generations. And being masculine means that being tough. Yeah, you like it or not, when you are a male, because in our community male should be tough. Yeah, so it is impossible for you to see that a man with a very big bodybuilder and then suddenly say that, ah, or when they laugh, they just close they just cover their mouth, and then people say that, wow. Yeah, we have to see which okay, Hanifa shows a funny face. Yeah, so we have to see that when we talk about masculine, when we talk about feminine, so we talk about the behavior. Yeah, that's Sarah.
Okay, Miss, I got the point, Miss. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, other. And for me, I think that I don't think that someone who goes to gym and have much I don't muscle, and I don't think that it is not showing the masculinity. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Other questions?
Sarah,
Yeah.
I want to ask.
Okay, from Gita.
Uh, we know that negative stereotype is one of the challenge that we get from the intercultural relationship. Do you think the negative stereotypes can be eliminated or can be broken by the intercultural relationship? So if it's yes, apa ya? What should we call it? If it yes or if it's so, how do you get rid of this negative stereotype by building the intercultural relationship? Do you get what I mean? Or I will type.
Okay. Yeah. Gita may type the question again so that
Yeah, yes. Thank you,
Sarah can
Gita.
read it.
Yeah,
Okay.
my pleasure.
And
Wait,
we
I
also
will
have
type.
question from Sheila. Sarah, Sheila said that is the dialectical approach useful in studying intercultural communications? And can you give example about cultural individual
Okay,
dialectic?
wait,
Okay.
please, wait.
Yeah, we give time for Sarah. Yeah. Okay. While we are waiting for the presenter to answer the question, maybe other participant would like to ask the question for Sarah and for Ivan. And while we are waiting for the question and for the answer, I just want to take you, not to bring you, yeah. I just want to take you to imagine about your everyday life, yeah. I'm sure that everyone here live in a multicultural society, right? Yeah. Just imagine that if you are living in other places in Indonesia, maybe like me, when I was in Padang, yeah, um, I lived in community where um, the member of the community are from the same perspective. Yeah, for example, the same religion. Then when I went to school, I had friends that differently from me in some ways. Yeah, and then when I at the time, my perspective is only in one thing. Everyone should be the same with me. Yeah. And then when I moved to Jakarta, and then I live among different people, differently in religion, we are different in race, we are different from our culture and everything. And then my perspective then change. Yeah. So here, when we live in one similar community, we usually see other as um, as a wrong persons, yeah, or as a wrong side, because we see it from our one side story, yeah. But when we live in a multicultural or multi what should we call it, in a multi perspective persons, or when we live in a multilingual and multicultural, then our perspective will change, and we realize that our view in our side could be blended with the other view from the other side. Yeah, and it is helpful to enrich our point of view of life and people. Yeah, so that never see uh, things from one side of story, but try to figure out from the other side of the story, so that we will understand the differences among each other. Yeah, and I'm sure that someday you will face the situation. Okay, Sila and Gita. Okay, Sarah, is it time for answer?
Miss, I want to answer Sheila's question first.
Okay.
This dialectic is useful because it helps us account for exception to cultural norms. And the example is the example of the cultural individual dialectic can be associated with discussing perception of Germans in the American society. For instance, while inviting a German specialist to work in the department of any US-based multinational company, human research managers can expect that this person will demonstrate certain characteristics, can expect that this person will demonstrate certain characteristics associated with the of the Germans and their approaches to managing time, learning, or conducting business. Still, the person invited to take a position in this U.S. based company can have multicultural attributes according to which this individual can be described as a creative person who is famous for proposing and promoting original and interesting idea related related to management and from and management which can be unexpected by both Germans and Americans. Therefore, the cultural individual dialectics should also be taken into consideration while developing intercultural relations. I think that is my answer for Sheila's questions.
Okay. What about the question? What do you think about Sila? Sorry. What do you think about Sarah answer, Sila?
I think it's enough, Miss.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah. Other, do you want to add more information related to Sarah's answer? Okay. Yeah. Here. We have to take a look at the stereotype first. Yeah. Did you still remember that stereotype is bad judgments by individual, right? Okay, we have a bad judgment towards something or towards someone without any evidence, and then we keep it in ourselves that the bad thing is a bad, yeah. So that when we still keep it in ourselves without knowing that probably the thing or the thought that we have in our mind is not correct. So we have to remember that stereotype is caused by someone's wrong judgment. That is why when you are socialized, especially when you are socialized with people among different culture, uh, we usually try to omit the stereotype. Yeah, for example, like this. In Indonesia, maybe we know that maybe for Bataknis speaker, we said that they are a harsh community, yeah, because we see it from their way of speaking. They speak in a very high tone, yeah. We judge them as a harsh person without knowing what why they speak like that, yeah. And then suddenly when we socialize with them, when we communicate with them, when we spend time with them, we suddenly know that, oh, not all of them are talking in a very high tone, even though they speak like that. It is because of some reasons, not because of what we have in our mind that they are harsh person. No. And then suddenly the stereotype will be omitted, and maybe we will throw the bad judgment away, and then we realize that they are not as what we think before. So that is why one of a good way to delete the stereotype among others is by intercultural relationship, yeah. So that is why you have to socialize with people from different background of culture, and especially, yeah, if someday you move from your hometown and live away from your hometown, or when you live abroad, try to be blended with people from other culture, not from your own culture, yeah, so that you will understand different perspective, different view from different culture. If you live away from your hometown and you still look for the same background of culture with you, the stereotype will still exist, yeah. So here, if we want to move the stereotype away, even though when we socialize each other, the stereotype we still have in our cognition, we still keep the stereotype actually, but it is in a very low amount, yeah, if we compare from before, yeah. So if you are living away from your house, living away from your hometown, try to be blended with people from different culture. There is a good way to move or to stop to have a stereotype among others, yeah. That is a thing that I'm going to add from Sarah's answer, yeah. Okay, Sarah, next questions. Are you ready for the answer?
Wait, miss.
Okay, yeah. And what about a question for Ivan?
Miss,
Yes, Clara.
oh, I want to ask to Ivan.
Yeah.
Ivan,
Where's Ivan?
are you
Okay.
there? May I type or just speak?
Okay, you may tell Ivan your answer, and then Ivan, would you mind to type Clara's questions?
Okay. Actually, I'm still confused with the privilege disadvantage dialectic. So I would like to ask, would you mind to explain it in a simple way and give an example from that of privilege disadvantage? Do you get what I mean, Ivan?
Still about a privilege, right?
Yes, Miss,
Okay.
about privilege.
Okay, would you please repeat the question so that I'm going to paraphrase your question so that Ivan understand it?
Okay, Miss.
Mhm.
Would you mind to what should I call it? Would you mind to explain it in a simple way and give the example from the privilege disadvantage dialectic?
Okay, I think Ivan had already explained it before, right? When I asked
Yes, Miss,
him
but
the question.
yes, Miss, but I'm still confused
Okay,
on
yeah.
it.
Yeah, Ivan, the same question that Clara asked to you, and then the same question with my question that you have already explained before. But I want you to explain it to us again in a very simple way and give example. Okay, thank you. Sarah, what about Sarah? Are you ready to answer the questions? Okay, while we are waiting for Sarah, class, this is my question to Sarah before the class about our makeup class. Um, can we have a makeup class on January 6th, Thursday at 10, just like today's time? January 6th.
Okay, Miss.
January 6th
I
is
think
okay?
I'm good with that.
What about other?
I agree, Miss.
Yeah, so that we don't have class on December 20th, and it will be substitute, and the makeup class on January 6th. It is on Thursday at 10. Is it okay? Okay, yeah.
Okay, Miss.
Okay, yeah. Thank
Yes,
you.
it's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, I'm going to inform academic then. Okay. Okay, while we are waiting for the presenters, Faras, Faras, is your office is located in front of DKMM office? I see the view here. Faras, Faras is at uh, Melayu kecil or Melayu what? And other, I remind you about your report, yeah, to your lecture for the internship. Please send the report, yeah. And where is Sarah? What is the question from Gita? Negative third type. Is it answer, Gita?
No, it haven't answered by Sarah, but I already explained by you, Miss.
Oh, okay. So I thought that I had explained Sheila's question. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. So Sarah is helped by me. Yeah. Okay, let's see
Yeah,
here.
but it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Sheila question is about dialectical approaches full in study. Okay. I think it is also most the same, yeah. The similar questions from Sarah, from Gita and from Sheila. Whenever we talk about intercultural, it means that we talk about being socialized in cross-cultural. For example, Ana is from Bengkulu or Lampung. Ana is Lampung, and then maybe Lauren is from Lauren. Are you from Nusa Tenggara or from Ambon or Lawrence?
Mana jelaskan dan contoh.
Central Java, Miss.
Okay, you're from,
Bagaimana
but
cara
your name is
melakukan-
not from Java, not Javanese name.
Yeah, Miss. My father from Flores and my mother from Solo, Miss.
So you are Flores, yeah. you are not Java, yeah. Because only Minangkabau community that is taken from maternal, yeah. So Lawrence is from Flores, but I'm sure that she knows Javanese language. Gita is also from Java, and Clara maybe from Betawi. Now here actually in this class we have intercultural communication actually, yeah. We have already blended in one class with different background of culture. I bring my own culture, my student bring their own culture, and then we are here, and unconsciously we already adapt the intercultural here. Yeah, we don't have any stereotype among other, right? You don't have any stereotype among your friends, right? Yeah, you understand your friends differences, and we understand each other that everyone has different perspective, different point of view, and everyone have a different background of everything, and we understand it. It means that we are successful in our intercultural, yeah. And then we are helped by our lingua franca, bahasa Indonesia. Just imagine that when you are talking each other, you speak with your mother tongue, yeah. And then everyone got a headache because nobody understand it, yeah. Okay, let's see here. Ivan. Okay, but can you explain it, Ivan? You don't have to turn on your camera. That's okay.
Miss,
Yes, Sarah.
I want to answer Salsa and Gita's question, Miss.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, Miss, too late.
Okay, that's okay.
I think we can't get rid of other people's negative stereotype with us completely, but we can overcome this
Mhm.
negative prejudice by having to try to reduce self prejudice and strive to eliminate prejudice on a social level,
Mm-hmm.
and can overcome prejudice by criticizing self bias and increasing social connections and dealing with the prejudice in a healthy manner.
Okay.
My answers.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So whenever we have stereotype is we judge something or someone in a bad way or wrong, and then it leads to our prejudice, right? So whenever you try to throw the stereotype, you also throw the prejudice away. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Ivan here. Ivan has already explained the question in the chat box. Okay, I'm going to read it because he is on the way to his office. Yeah, he said that every culture has their own privilege and disadvantages. Yeah, there is no culture with only privilege or only disadvantages. Yeah, because every culture will have it in one side. And then he give the example here. When a tourist come to Indonesia, we can see their privilege from their economic and financial side. And then they have a lot of money, so they can go holiday. But the advantage is when they cannot talk the local language that will be disadvantaged. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is a good example. Uh, yeah, I'm going to say it again. When you are in a place that is not your homeland, it means that you are in a host country, for example, and then you find that you get a privilege of one thing. For example, uh, people speak your own language. It means that you get the privilege, yeah. And then when you go to other place that is not spoken your mother tongue, and then people don't care about your language, and they say they still use their own language. It means that you get the disadvantage. Now the example of Ivan is when you see the foreigner here, the tourists, they come to Indonesia and we treat them like a king, right? Yeah, whenever thing related to foreigner, and then it must be a very we should service them in a good way. Uh, it means that they get privilege from us, yeah. And then unfortunately, when we go to other country, we find that uh, they don't serve us as we serve the foreigner here, so that we get the disadvantages, yeah. So that or the answer, Clara, from Ivan. Is Clara here?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand about Ivan's answer and my explanation just now?
Actually, I'm still confused because
Okay.
I got the distraction.
Okay.
But maybe later I will to
Okay. In simple way, just like this, yeah. When Clara lives in Indonesia, she speak bahasa Indonesia. Maybe she can speak other tribal language, and she also can speak English. Then someday, Clara moved to other country. For example, she moved to England, and when she speak to people there, she got shocked that she finds that some community can speak in Indonesia, can speak bahasa Indonesia, and those community then prefer to speak bahasa Indonesia with Clara rather than English. It means that Clara get privilege.
it's like a bilingual.
Not a bilingual, but you get a privilege when you move to other place. Yeah, people respect or people treat you well by speaking your own language. Yeah, and then you get easily to socialize with the community because you find that people speak your own language, even though maybe you are not so fluent in speaking English. It means that you get the privilege. And
Ah,
on the other side, we talk about disadvantages. The example is like this: when you move from Indonesia to other country, for example, you move to Malaysia. This is a very easy example here. Clara speak bahasa Indonesia. Also, she can speak English. She also can speak other tribal language. Maybe she can speak Japanese language, and maybe she speak other language. And then suddenly, someday, you move to Malaysia, and you think that in Malaysia you can speak bahasa Indonesia, yeah. And then suddenly, when you meet people in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, for example, you confidently speak in bahasa Indonesia for that to them, and then you get confused when you speak with them in bahasa Indonesia. You get replied by them by English. They don't want to answer you by bahasa Indonesia or Malay language, but they answer you by English. It means that you get disadvantages. Do you understand?
okay, Miss, I
Yeah.
got it.
Okay. Now this is
Thank you, Miss.
yeah. You are welcome. This is something that I faced when I visit Malaysia and Singapore several years ago, around 2016 and 2017 with my family. When we visited Singapore, and then I asked some question regarding to direction to the people there. I asked them using English because I thought using English in Singapore is a very general, so that I speak in English. And I got a reply by them in Mandarin. Yeah, I got shocked. Yeah, because I thought that when I speak English with people in Singapore, it means that I'm going to be replied in English too. But then I got replied in Mandarin. Yeah, so I got shocked, and then I asked them to speak English, and then they just said that, oh, we thought you are Chinese. Yeah, they thought that I was Chinese, and then that is why they use English. They use Mandarin. And other side, when I visited Kuala Lumpur with my nephew and my family in 2017, I speak with people there using Malay language, Melayu. Yeah, but I found that nobody answer me. Yeah, when I ask something with them in Malay language, they don't answer me. But when I ask them using English, they help me. They help me, and then they told me what to do and everything and everything. So sometimes we got privilege when we understand about one community's tongue, and we got disadvantages when they think that we are not the same. And it is what we see in Indonesia. We always give privilege to the foreigner who comes to Indonesia. Yeah, they come to our country, and it is us that should speak English with them. Yeah, it's supposed that the foreigners should speak bahasa Indonesia with us because they visit us. Yeah, but we got disadvantages, they got privilege. Do you understand the situations?
Yes,
Yeah.
Miss.
Okay, so actually, if the foreigner come to Indonesia, they should speak bahasa Indonesia. Yeah, because when we go to other country, we should speak English, right? Yeah, so that in this case, we can say that we get disadvantages while the foreigner get privilege. Okay, is there any questions? Or is it clear
So,
enough?
Miss,
Yes?
so it means that if if someone answer in the same language, for example, it can be concluded that we got the privilege disadvantage.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Okay,
correct.
Miss.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
What you mean?
Yeah, but
Thank you,
sometimes,
Miss.
yeah, you're welcome. But sometimes we face the different situation. Yeah, for example, the situation is like when the English, the British or the people from Britain visit French, and they speak the British speak English. The French will reply in French. Yeah, sometimes some community resist. Yeah, resist to do what should we call it, to do the good intercultural communications. Yeah, it can be said that some reasons related to the history, for example, the French will use English when they have to speak to the tourists that they see are not from the British. Yeah. Maybe if we are from Indonesia and we speak to people in French, in English, they will answer, they will reply us in English. But due to their historical reasons, some French will not use French to the British. Yeah, so we have also see some reasons for different situation. Okay, other questions? I think we still have time before we end the class. And for the presenter, today's presenter and the previous weeks, would you mind send or submit the PowerPoint on the ad link? Yeah, because I need to get your PowerPoint. Okay.
For me, I have missed.
You have already submitted? Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, and for others who didn't submit the PowerPoint, please submit it to me. Okay. Well, if there is no question, I think that's all for today. Yeah. And I remind you that our class at we don't have class at December 20th, and we will have a makeup class on January 6th. Yeah, on Thursday at 10 morning. Okay. Thank you very much, class, for today's meeting. Have a nice day. Have a nice holiday, and see you next year. Yeah. And yeah, stay safe, everyone. Yeah, happy holiday and thank you very much. You may leave our Google Meet. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, stay healthy, everyone. Yeah, and pray for your friends. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I will end the meeting. Yeah.